But let's go back to that issue, the troubling instance in Australian politics now, or certainly the concern that people, particularly young people, are drifting more and more to the left. It's all, of course, the green left move inside Labor that's helping drive it. ACT Labor today considering legalising euthanasia for teenagers as young as 14 who aren't necessarily in imminent danger of death. In Victoria, we saw the Labor Party, well, they backed recognising the state of Palestine, or Palestine as a state. It's not there yet. And they want to vote against AUKUS at a national level. There's a whole lot of fees about, there's a whole lot of proposals at the National Conference in August about free abortion. There's also a demand that childcare be absolutely free. They want to close down at Nauru as well, and we saw that was a nightmare when Rudd did it. 50,000 illegal arrivals landed on our shores. But that's the Labor Party. And then that report I went through at the top of the show, Centre for Independent Studies, says that younger generations, Gen Z and below, are more left-wing than at any other time in our history. Joining me to discuss it all, former Liberal MP Nicole Flint and the Managing Director of PR Counsel, Kristy McSweeney. Ladies, welcome. Nicole, I have to say, I know a lot of people in the coalition are worried about this. They see that over time the coalition is stranded. I made the point before, you know, I think a lot's to do with education, but it's also about parents and other people, particularly the media, contesting some of the ideas that young people have. And we're all too scared, I think, sometimes to raise these issues, aren't we?
Yes, Peter, and I think that the Liberal Party across the nation at the state and federal level should look very closely at this piece of work by the CIS and take on board the findings so that we can address them, because the future of the nation depends on us presenting an alternative to the Labor Green view of the world and, quite frankly, saving the nation from that view of the world. So I think there are two crucial things here, Peter. The Liberal Party is always at its best. We are always at our best when we focus on policy and we put policies to the nation that talk to every single generation. So clearly we need to work harder on that. But secondly, we are facing some of the most challenging economic circumstances we've seen in a generation. And it's my generation, the Gen Xers, who remember very clearly how tough it was in the 80s and 90s for small business owners, for families, people paying their mortgages, people with business loans. Peter, I finished school in 1995 and it was almost impossible to get a job even at a supermarket. That's how tight things were. That's how dire the economic situation was. We have Labor pouring 400,000 new migrants into the economy or into the nation this year alone. We have record housing challenges in terms of rent, in terms of people paying their mortgages, and of course we have record cost of living challenges as well, particularly in power. So this sort of economic challenge might change the views of some of these young people who seem to think that it's easy to get a job and that things will always be that way.
What annoys me sometimes in this, and I agree with Nicole's point there, Kristy, about policy, is the coalition too often vacate the field in some of these tough areas, right? We're too scared to put our head above the parrot. I'll take childcare as an example. No issue with supporting families with childcare, but why on earth, and the coalition voted for it when Labor got into power last year, why on earth are we paying for the childcare bills of people earning $500,000, $500,000 a household? Why is the taxpayer paying their childcare bills? It might surprise people to know we spend over $11 billion right now on childcare. And as of this weekend, it'll go to almost $13 billion. We've got pensioners who can't even turn their heaters on tonight. Can't we get somewhere a better middle ground in this stuff?
Well, certainly, can't we? And you're right, the coalition has vacated the field on several key policy areas. Nicole knows from being an MP, obviously ran for election, and I'm constantly told by our in-house team, who are the experts on this, we won't talk about childcare, we can't talk about health, we can't talk about education, we can't talk about environment. All of those things are highly relevant to constituencies that we need to win back. Women and young people. And we need to explain the universal values of the Liberal Party, which are universal values that relate to young people, to women, to older people, to mums juggling childcare and a career. They are values that relate to all of those cohorts, and we really need to do some serious work on the messaging of how we sell those values to those people, and that means not vacating the field, arguing our point on policies that are relevant to them in our language that they understand.
I'll tell you, something like abortion, forget the idea of free abortion. How about free contraception? How about we deal with the problem before it is a problem, if that's where we're headed? But I bet you that, again, the coalition won't put its head up above the parapet on that one.